Before we even attempt to get into the nitty gritty, let's talk about the diversity piece.
Okay.
Okay. Because the diversity piece and your scale of hunters and what their goal or what their intent is differs drastically. Okay. And so what we'll do is we'll use the alphabet to go ahead and relate to that. All right. And what I mean by it, the alphabet is A. This is A. This is the hunter. I have some spare time. Want to relax today. Want to go out, take my time, hunt over corn feeder, walk the area, do what I need to do. If I see a deer, I see a deer. I don't. Then you can go all the way down to Z, okay? And Z is a different animal.
Yeah.
Z is, I'm the individual, man. I passed a paying job just because it's going to take away from my hunting time.
Committed.
Yes, totally committed. How much sick time do I have? How much vacation? What's the rut looking like?
No birthdays, no weddings, none of that
nothing.
planned during the
Please,
season.
praying, fingers crossed, nobody gets sick.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't get sick. That type of an individual goals are way different than A.
Yeah.
And I wanted to add this. If you could listen to this podcast today, you can see that me, Jimbo, yourself, we all have different ways of doing something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let somebody dictate and tell you because of the way that you hunt, whether it be your weapon of choice, the method in which you hunt, that it is not going to be effective. Because I know me and Jimbo go back and forth when we got an older gentleman here and me, the younger generation, and me and him, I'll tell you right now, me and him will argue till we're blue in the face on something.
What works for one doesn't work for all sometimes.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like you said, no matter what our method is, the end state is the same. The wind is your friend.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, guys, we're sitting here rolling behind scenes, and we just decided to turn the cameras on because the conversation's flowing good. We're sitting here. First off, welcome to another episode of the Cast&Blast podcast. I'm your host, Beancha Ben. Joining me is my co-host, Jimmy Trent.
That's me, a.k.a. Nasty Jim.
A.k.a. Nasty Jim. To his left is Jimbo from J2 Deer and Hog Attractant. This man is a local legend in all of our eyes because he's getting us on the big deer.
The
Not
real
a legend,
deer.
not a legend, just an old timer.
And then to the right, to his left, to my right, yeah, I'm trying to figure out which is what, is Danny Ray from Downright Deadly YouTube. You guys can find him all over YouTube and social media. These guys are here joining us today. We're going to be talking pretty much anything under the sun when it comes to deer hunting, rut, public land, you name it. We're here for it. Let's get it going. Jimmy.
Yeah, so like Ben was saying, these two gentlemen right here are known in the area for killing big deer routinely on public land. And anybody that's ever hunted mature deer, big deer on public land, know that that's not an easy task to do year after year after year after year. These two gentlemen, along with some other friends, you'll see some of their other crew on here real soon too. They've came up with a lot of tactics, techniques, tips, and tricks and things like that. That if you're a public land hunter for mature deer, you might want to listen to what these two gentlemen are about to talk about. So with that being said, let's get that ball rolling. Let's see what's in that ball of y'all's.
Yeah,
let's see what y'all got to share out there.
We'll let Jimbo kick it off.
All right. I think before we even attempt to even get in the nitty gritty, okay.
Bring this a little closer. Just
Before we even attempt to get into the nitty gritty, let's talk about the diversity piece.
okay.
Okay. Because the diversity piece and your scale of hunters and what their goal or what their intent is differs drastically. Okay. And so what we'll do is we'll use the alphabet to go ahead and relate to that. All right. And what I mean by it, the alphabet is A. This is A. This is the hunter. I have some spare time. Want to relax today. Want to go out, take my time, hunt over corn feeder, walk the area, do what I need to do. If I see a deer, I see a deer. I don't. But it's my way of deer hunting, and I enjoy it, and nobody can take that away from me.
Absolutely.
Right?
And that should be everybody's goal right there.
That's it. Okay. Then you can go all the way down to Z. Okay. And Z is a different animal.
Yeah.
Z is, I'm the individual, man, I passed a paying job just because it's going to take away from my hunting time.
Committed.
Yes, totally committed. How much sick time do I have? How much vacation? What's the rut looking like?
No birthdays, no weddings, none of that
nothing.
planned during
Please,
the season.
Praying, fingers crossed, nobody gets sick. Please don't get sick. That type of an individual goals are way different than A.
Yeah. And that sounds relatable too. We're talking about hunting deer. That sounds relatable. You got your A, that's hunting a young buck. You got your Z, that's hunting an old time, big buck.
And passing other mature, there's a difference in, Z hunter versus an A hunter. An A hunter is going to shoot the first thing that's legal. It's brown, it's down. That's the mentality, kind of. I feel like that's the mentality of the A hunter. Me, I'm going to say I'm a V hunter. I'm not a Z, because Z is I feel like that you don't really have a life outside of hunting. That's all you have. And, me, I got kids, I got a girlfriend, I got things I still have to do. But I will tell you right now, a lot of decisions get made based off of me hunting. So I am going to say I'm a V. I'm getting close to Z, but I don't think I'll ever be Z, because I'm still going to make those memories with family and do those things I need to do.
And there's nothing wrong with whatever alphabet you fall on. It's just, it comes down to your commitment.
That's it. That's it. The best way to do that, like I said, you're talking about an alphabet, A and Z. There's a whole lot in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah, you got 26 chances to find where you land.
Right.
Yeah.
Based off commitment.
Yeah. And so how those individuals based off that schematic, they range, oh my goodness, it's just crazy. All the way to your youngest guy who just picked up a bow, he's on public land, maybe he's 18, just started hunting, whatever, and he's trying to learn, okay? Then you have the Z guy, he's been doing this stuff since he's been 18, now he's 57, okay? He's kind of got a toolkit from hell, you know what I'm saying? It's just that he spends so much time, and that's another thing. When you're on the opposite end or the end of the alphabet, you got to understand that it's just more than running into the woods 2 weeks before season to find a scrape rub. Okay, you probably already got 100 to 150 hours of just sit time in a tripod in the summer heat.
Yeah.
Looking at velvet and establishing what we would call a target buck list.
We say it all the time. You got to get out there in glass. You got to be out there watching the deer.
Yeah.
And so before season starts, your areas that you show interest in, you should have already been in there, okay? You should have already dissected a lot of the different issues going on, as far as bedding to a point, because that's going to change.
That's what I was going to say. We're going to get deeper into seasons and zones.
Yeah, it's going to change. It's going to be almost hard to steer this podcast straight because there's so many rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Let's do
I
it.
got a rabbit hole for you, and this is catching you by surprise. I don't know if you guys even knew this was part of the podcast today. I didn't, but I think it's a good time to go ahead and do something, because we just got a comment on a previously aired video.
Okay.
Desert Dog 1125.
Desert Dog.
We're going to highlight you as the comment of the week. You guys have seen some of our videos where we ask you guys to drop a comment, and we'll highlight you as the comment of the week. Maybe we do a giveaway. We do all kinds of things for you guys as our subscribers. Well, Desert Dog 1125 asked a question. Is the J2 Attractant available at retailers or just in Texas?
Good point.
Well,
Desert Dog 1125. Make sure you leave us a message. You can email us at info@Cast&Blast Podcast, and we'll make sure to send you a free gift. We're going to turn it over to Jimbo and let him answer that question live here in front of you guys.
Well, as of right now, we are small in scale. We service multiple stores right here in the Central Texas corridor. So you're ready to grab stuff. Unfortunately, right now is only available right here to the Central Texas corridor. Now you can get on the J2 website and you can order. We have shipping on there. You can order everything from our products bag. I know we're still working some things, interlinking some things that go with that whole process. But as of right now, yeah, you can get on the website and order.
Well, we'll make sure we drop that website in the description so you guys can check that out. If you're watching now and you're trying to figure out what exactly J2 Attractant is, this is what's working for us here in the Central Texas area and all around Texas, really. But it's starting to get, as you can see, it's starting to get traction, and people are trying to get their hands on it. So you can get your hands on it on the website. We'll make sure to drop that in the description. Thank you. We wanted to highlight that as the comment of the week. I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, came in right now.
Came
That's
in
awesome.
right now.
I like that.
All right, so we're back to Jimbo, and we're talking about
Yeah, sorry.
A to Z.
A to Z.
A to Z. Okay.
You
So-
talked about the rabbit holes. There it was.
Right? Yeah, it was rabbit hole. Okay, so anyway, so the whole A to Z philosophy, okay, we're automatically at this point, we understand what A is, we understand what Z is.
Right. Yep.
Okay, and so we're going to move forward from the end of the spectrum vision, which
Okay.
I'm going to say is T to Z.
Okay, T to Z.
T to Z.
Okay, 'cause I don't consider myself a Z either.
Yeah.
I'm more of
you
an
got-
elemento.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm an elemento.
So you got to understand
You're
there
working
is.
your way there.
There you go. I'm getting there.
Yeah, you got to understand there is a little gap there.
There you
But-
go.
So, yeah, how we look at things, is so different from the time that we were starting the sport. And so I'd rather talk like that than I would rather talk like, well, these young guys nowadays.
Right. Back
Yeah.
in
You know what
my
I'm saying?
day.
It
Because I think that kind of puts a wrong twist.
kind of comes down to experience in the woods.
Well, 100%.
Time and experience in the woods.
Yeah, and how do you get that experience?
By being in the not on YouTube.
No?
You get it from being in the woods.
Right.
Taking somebody out and maybe going out with somebody that knows what they're doing, a little older, right? Learning from them guys.
And the process has over time changed because I got here to Fort Hood when I was 18. Okay, and so being from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, up in the Northeast, that's a big difference.
Big
Yeah.
difference.
You know, and so as I'm going down a highway, I'm looking into a field, and I'm seeing something that looks like camouflage cans used to
Yeah.
top off a tractor
Okay.
or something. No, it's a deer feeder.
You didn't
What
know
in
what
the
it
world's
was.
a deer feeder?
Right. You didn't know what it
Can't
was.
have that.
No idea what
Yeah.
a deer feeder
Yeah.
was, And so, boom, flag one. Got to learn about that. You know what I'm saying? And being able to do that, okay, comes in multiple different ways. We didn't have podcasts.
Yeah.
We didn't have YouTube
Right.
back then.
You didn't have weather apps.
Didn't
you
have
didn't
weather
have
apps.
satellite view
On it.
Right.
on it.
Right.
Yep.
No, you had the hunting club where I came from. You had the hunting club, and you go sit with all the gentlemen
go.
at the
Yep.
hunting club,
And it's
you
funny-
are talking with all of them and picking up whatever they need,
Between
whatever
those-
they got to say.
Between those and your Lamborghinis,
Oh yeah,
you better get busy.
because you're from PA. I'm from Northwest Florida. That's where I grew up.
Right.
There ain't no big deer there, but we did have deer feeders.
Okay.
And so, right there was exactly what you said. The system that was in place to hunt public land, meaning, i.e., Fort Hood, there's much public land here. You go up to Whitney, you can go over there to East Texas, hunt the Piney Woods. But I'm talking directly right here at Fort Hood, Texas. And they had a program instilled that was a draw.
Right.
You had to show up at noon, okay? You got your permit, you put it in a wheel. There was a lot going on when that was happening. And for me, as a young man, the camaraderie was intense.
Okay.
While you're waiting there for your permit number and everything to be getting called, you're talking to old timers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And this is beyond the veterans and all that
Yes.
brotherhood that's on top of it.
100%.
You know?
Yes. So you can learn.
Yeah.
And I always took the opportunity to listen to an old timer.
Yeah.
Always. Now, one thing about an old timer, you touched on it earlier today, they will not give you the answer to the exam,
Sure.
but they'll give you a couple questions,
You're gonna
a
work
couple
for 'em.
close answers, and you're going to figure out the answer to the exam.
I like it.
And so
And often when they do that, that answer is in the question. It's up to you to figure it out, though.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. And then as you're going down through this walk of life, trying to learn all this stuff in the woods, and all this stuff about this specific deer, not a northeastern deer, it's Central Texas deer, totally different animal. And so everything you thought you knew, you don't know it. Take it, throw it in the trash bag. Okay. And so now we got a damn blank building block on a Central Texas hill country animal that I got to try and figure out. And in reality, That's where the seeds got planted for J2.
Okay.
That's where they got planted at. Because I was always the individual that wanted to look for, not necessarily a shortcut, look for the advantage.
The advantage.
Efficiency.
Public land, what can I do different? And get results.
You need the edge.
That's it. And that's kind of where those seeds started back when I was 18.
That's
Now-
amazing.
Now, I will say, a person that cuts their teeth on public land, if you learn public land or learn how to hunt public land successfully, time after time after time, you are hands down going to be a better hunter, woodsmanship than somebody, if you got your own 200, 300, 400 acre,
I agree,
private
100%.
land
Yeah,
that
I
you
agree.
can just set up and hunt and set it how you want.
I will say there's almost to a point where I've hunted private land where I don't even necessarily find as much joy in it. I find more joy in the challenge of going to a property that maybe I don't get to grow that deer. I
Money
don't-
statement.
And it's like I went on I just went on that hunt in Brady, cool hunt, but it's private land.
Yeah.
I put out the J2 there. Let me tell you what, I had
You
I had a mass amount of deer.
just open a bag, let that scent out. It's game over.
I have a video I showed him. I shot that doe, and I just loaded her up on the e-bike trailer, and I'm trying to get out of there, and I got a deer, a little like 6-point non-shootable buck. Well, he just walks right past me
he's following.
with his girlfriend on the cart. He just walks right past me and goes and feeds before I can even leave the area with her on it. And I
Isn't
said,
that something?
and I'm like, okay, this is, one, there's a lot of deer numbers here. 2, we got the pull power of J2. I'm like, but this ain't happening at Fort Hood.
Right.
This right here ain't happening. And so I think the challenge just of overall public land is what draws me.
What makes you guys for you each this answer is often the same but can be different for you guys. What is the biggest challenge of hunting Fort Hood other than the people? I'm not talking, we all know people, that's the answer. But other than that, the people and the pressure, what makes hunting public land tough?
The animals' behavior to the pressure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Same.
so there was a time when we could run cameras. All right, me and Jim were talking about
Trail
that.
cameras.
There was
Yeah.
trail cameras, and there was a deer that I chased for a long time called One-Eyed Willie because he only had one eye. All right, so I saw this deer.
You a deer namer?
I'm a deer namer.
You're a
Yeah,
deer namer.
I'm a deer namer.
I
So,
like it.
so I seen this deer named One-Eyed Willie, and I seen him. I think it was like 2016 is the first time I put eyes on him. I think he was a 130-inch deer then. Next year, I got eyes on him. He was probably 140, close to 150, just perfect mainframe 10. So the next year comes, and I'm like, he is where I got pictures of him the year before, is a mile and a half away from where I seen him the year before. So then the next season
Same
comes.
time of year?
Yep, same time of year. So then the next year, I put out like 15 trail cameras trying to locate this deer because I was like, I'm gonna harvest this deer, and I had him. And I'm not lying to you. Each year, his area would change a mile and a half in the same area. So that deer, we talk about how a deer adjusts to pressure. I think he was, and then we had where he was hitting multiple blend piles in the same night, a mile and a half from each other.
Oh yeah, he had
So
them sniffed out.
this was a deer that you're like, how is this a deer adapting to pressure? Well, this deer is not. You listen to all these podcasts and they're talking about core area is only
Exact thing,
600, 800 yards
Yep.
or whatever, and I'm over here like, I got a deer that's literally traveling a mile and a half in one night, hitting multiple blend piles on both cameras, and I can't figure out what he's doing.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Or
figure
where he's going to be during shoot or close to shooting like the next morning.
Who knows? He's probably bedded in the middle of a field that nobody can get to. Who knows? And-
Watching
and-
everybody.
And that is something that's like so. I think a lot of these deer studies are really cool, but these deer studies are not always conducted on big tracts of public land.
My philosophy is every deer is going to be different because every deer has a different experience with human pressure. So every deer's mind is going to work differently, and they're going to or be different based off whatever human pressure they had.
Oh,
Well, I think
100%.
I think that's something that I'm learning. If I as a human can learn behavior and I understand what the animals are doing, the animals' senses are way better than ours. Their memory is actually even more keen because of the pressure, right?
Mm-hmm.
That deer is not nowhere as near a threat to me as I am to them.
100%.
So that deer is going to react 10 times more of on alert, and they're going to have a better sense of what they feel is, like you guys are talking about pressure, what they feel as a danger to them. And human behavior equals danger, period.
You know where everything's at in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Guess what? If somebody walks in this house, you're going to be watching them, what they're doing, why they're doing it. That's the same thing. When we go into the woods, we are stepping into the deer's house, and the deer's going to be watching.
And they're
listening,
seeing you
looking.
way before you see them.
And a very little difference. You get close up into some bedding. You're close to a bedroom, and say you do a ground setup, and you just cut some cedar limbs, make you a little ground setup. They may know. They're going to pick up on it.
Oh, they're going to.
They're going to know.
It's like going and changing your living room layout. You know?
You go in there. I mean, your toilet paper's in a different spot than it normally
Yeah.
is. You're like, hey, something ain't right.
That's a gamble. You know what I'm saying? That's a gamble any way you look at it, that hunt. Now, is it effective? Yes, it's effective.
Sometimes.
But the gamble is how long is he going to take for him to notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get an hour off?
It would have to. I always say if you're going to do something like that, it's the day of. So the first sit you hunt is going to be the best opportunity you have to shoot.
Because you won't
deer
get that
you do
second
that.
chance.
I would agree.
Because him stopping and looking at whatever's changed could be the stop that he makes to be the fatal stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
Oh,
where
yeah.
you're like, hey, I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut this right here and move this, and he's like, what is that?
It's a gamble.
It
Am
is
I
a
going to get away with it or am I not?
Especially during the rut. For me, it's harder during the rut because when you start calling, you're hitting them rattling horns and that grunt call. That dude, he may be 500 yards away, but he knows exactly
Where you're at.
where that sound is.
So,
and he's going to come in and see it's different.
I want to add this, and I'm asking you guys. I'm not making a statement. I'm gonna maybe try to spark a conversation here that kind of people don't really talk about. And maybe it's because I'm full of shit and I don't know what I'm talking about. But so the rut, we always talk about how like you can get away with a lot you can't get away with in the rut.
Yeah.
Would you say that sometimes mature buck behavior, is almost a little
Skewed.
yeah, like it's a little off because they're so focused on
For
the
sure.
rut.
Yes, I want
sure.
to say you have a better opportunity, and this goes across the board. You're going to have a better opportunity at making mistakes and killing a mature buck during the rut than you are any other time of the season.
And a lot of people don't really talk about that, and well, one, it's not everybody's giving away all the keys like you said, but it's just something I feel like, I'm learning as I go and I'm picking up those things and I'm like, okay, it's animal. I think I always tell myself like to catch a predator. You got to think like a predator. That's a horrible example, dude. I don't ever want to think like a predator.
To think like you got to think like a deer to kill.
You gotta think like a deer, man.
Where do the deer want to be?
Yeah.
Look at your surroundings.
Time of
What's the
year. Am I
sign?
looking for
Yeah.
food? Am I
Yeah.
look? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
the
just
travel
gonna-
path, all those things,
Yes. And this is something that I've noticed too. So we do this all the time. Maybe not everybody does this, but I know me and Jimbo, we do a lot of things and
Similar.
just similarly,
Yeah.
like not necessarily talk about it, but we talk about it later on, and we're
Sure.
like, oh, I do the same thing. So this area that I hunt, I do the same thing every time I feed. So I drive my vehicle in there, I get out, I leave my vehicle running, I feed, I get back in my vehicle, and I move on. I do that same thing every time. So guess what? On Tuesdays, your trash comes. Every
right.
Tuesday, that trash is coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, so they're like, well, every time I hear this sound,
Not a threat.
Maybe they don't associate it with the vehicle because they're not like, oh, every
No, they
time I
do.
see that vehicle,
They do.
But they're like, hey, every time I hear that sound, there is some greatness
That's
that's
right.
put on the ground.
They
All
know
right.
it. Jimmy
So-
and I.
I will tell you when we're out on the lease,
Yep.
man, we go out to feed, and we feed 2 tons of corn a month, and those deer got so damn used to my truck. We drive through, deer would come up out of bed and just to stand up and look, and they would damn near follow
You
the
done
truck
turn them
for
into
a while.
cows. You done-
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And that's the thing. It was all low fence, free range deer.
Yeah.
But you're right. They get so used to it
Yep.
over time.
Yep, like the other day, I went and hunted that spot, and I the area was closed for a while, and I wasn't able to get in there. And but the day I was able to hunt, I was able to get in there. I said, "Man, I ain't feed this in 6 days. I need to get in there and feed." So I go in there, drive my Jeep to that same spot, and get out, feed it, drive my Jeep away, and go put my stand up.
Yeah.
30 minutes later, there's a deer coming out there. You know, people are like, oh, that. I'm like, well, one, the pull power J2 is a big thing, but, you know, doing something consistently in the way that you do it plays big dividends.
So the key I take away from that is also you never shot from the truck. You know what I mean? So that threat.
Not trying to go to jail.
Well, no. Well, so like Jimmy and I, we did a lot of that management hunt we did, and we were guiding, and we did all that, but we never shot from the truck. We could have on private.
Yeah, on the MLD tags.
On the MLD and all that stuff. Yeah. So we were running an operation to get people on successful hunts, right? Guys that just got one day, 1 weekend a year. They just need put meat in the freezer. So that's what we specialized in. Well, with that said, you know, sometimes it would get, you know, maybe a guy wanted two does or something, you know, and the second doe was going to be a challenge. So we're like, hey, we're going to drop you off in this.
We put them in a blind
and say we're going to drive by that feeder, spin it, drive off, and they know already. But this truck, they know this truck, they associate it with feed.
We just drive around the corner of that whatever little pasture that was. We just drive around the corner, sit there, and we. All right, man, we're coming. They'll be like, "Damn, y'all just left." Like,
it's cheating, you know. It's a whole different ball game, you know. There's no thrill in that at all. But we did get a thrill out of putting people on successful hunts, you know.
The smiles, yeah,
no, for sure.
So A to Z, we covered A to Z. The commitment level. Do you think that time? So when the 18-year-old, he's wanting to get out there, he's wanting to hunt. Going to school, he might get an evening hunt, 1 or 2 evening hunts in a week, and he's hunting hard on the weekends. But that's hard for him. That's what he's knowing.
Yeah,
but he's still an A. He's making these mistakes.
Yeah.
And over these, you know, he's 25 now. He went from 18 to 25.
Yep.
And now that man, he does not have to spend as much, in my opinion, he doesn't have to spend as much time in the woods to learn as much because of what he's already X'd off of the learning curve. If that makes sense. And
I think that's true to a point, but I think when it comes to killing mature bucks, I think it's always going to be.
That's always going to be about.
I think that's always going to dictate how much time you spend in the woods.
Right.
I think finding the right one is always the hardest part.
But you're going to be able to spend more quality time in the woods because you've already learned to X off.
You're not looking at everything.
You're not looking wide scope. You're looking through a straw now.
Yeah, we're on live scope.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing that I think about, and you hit the nail on the head there, is it's important to see what you want to hunt. Sometimes I find it more important to X off what I don't want to hunt, you know? And you do that by, you know, topographical maps, whether you're using, you know, apps and e-scouting and doing all that, and then you add your ground scouting and all those things, and then you just know, like, there's certain areas that don't really set up, and you know there's a predominant wind in this region, and you know, okay, if it's going to be this north wind, you know, for the rest of this season, this spot don't set up, you know, so I'm marking that off my map, and I'm not wasting a lot of time. But then, guys, you guys know sometimes that's the spot, am I right?
Right, and so that's one of the things you have to look at.
Yep.
Okay, and how do I combat that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you one of the ways. There's multiple ways to combat it. Okay, but a couple years ago, I started hunting with a Millennium tripod. Okay, so now my only concern, okay, is when I'm setting up my drop zone, I must have a northeast, southwest, preferably about 75 yards away from the drop zone, where I can pop the tripod.
Move. Yeah.
Because if I decide that I'm going to go in there and I'm going to hunt, okay, if I decide I'm going to go in there and hunt, I'm going to drive, I'm stopping about 100 yards from the drop zone. At 47 pounds, my tripod over my shoulder.
Right.
Boom. But as I'm going in there, I already know right now which way the wind's blowing.
Yep.
Am I going northeast, southwest for the set?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But number two, I could take an extra minute at the front of my truck, go to my windy app.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. 6 o'clock tonight, I got a wind shift.
Yeah.
About the shift, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, if I got the wind shift, you know what? Let me make my adjustment 45 degrees instead of where I would normally set 50 degrees, and kind of ride that line.
Sure.
You know. But I will tell you, in the time of I didn't have a chance to look at my windy app, storm blows in, something's not right, man, this wind's wrong. I have the capability of getting down in under 2 minutes, moving that tripod out of the scent, staying out of the scent zone, all the way around to where it's advantage, repopping it up, and continuing the hunt.
How long does it take to put that tripod up?
Are we talking about taking it off the roof of my truck, taking it in and setting it up? Or
Well,
are we talking about it's in its storage configuration?
If you have to move, if you got to get down and move, pop it back up. How long is that process?
Under 2 minutes.
Under 2 minutes. Phantom tripods.
Yeah, Millennium.
Millennium.
Yeah, the Millennium, what, you got the T100?
Yeah, the T100, and because it's so light, I went ahead and opted for the T104 extension kit.
Okay.
That puts me at 12.
Wow.
So now, all these little Spanish oaks,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in them.
Yeah.
I'm in the canopy.
See, and this is a toolkit, right? So for me, I'm not about that picking 47 pounds up, and
that's what I was about to
that
say.
ain't me, right? So that's how he combats the wind. You know me, I'm a big evening hunter. I don't really hunt the mornings. I'll be honest with you, I don't hunt
Same
mornings.
way,
I
I'll
don't
talk
hunt,
about that
I don't
too.
hunt
Same
mornings
thing.
until the rut hits, because you can kind of get away with the rut, because you can go in there and blow a deer out, and then
Sit.
they will come back because does are getting chased around, whatever.
Right.
You can do that. But I face almost all of my sets, I try to face east. And why do I face east? Because west, the sun sets at my back, the sun is in the deer's eyes, and guess what? I can hunt it on a north and a south wind. Doesn't matter. So if the wind does shift, if it's an east or if it's a west wind, well, then I hop around and I'll go face. If I got to face west, guess what? I'm going to put some foliage in where it's going to block up that sun.
Yeah.
And it ain't going to beam me in the face too much. And, you know, with the saddle, like I said, I've hunted everywhere from a foot off the ground to 25 foot off the ground. You give me a cedar tree, I'll hunt a cedar tree. It doesn't matter. I'll even hook my saddle up and stand on the ground.
Okay.
Like,
I
it
was going to
doesn't matter
ask
to
you.
me.
I was going to ask you, from your guys' experience, asking for a friend, what is your magic number for height? Do you have one?
I don't
I mean,
have
there's guys that do, right? And they swear, like, I got to be above 9 feet.
I think terrain and canopy dictates.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a specific height, but
So you're not one that subscribes to the whole, like, you're not going to shoot anything if you're less than 6 feet off the ground.
no.
No, that in my younger days, that was 20 feet.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
But that was also a different terrain, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
so 20
I think it was a different mentality.
Okay.
Because
was.
when I spoke about this tree, people
Yes.
are trying to hunt the specific tree,
Right.
right? Yeah, I've been guilty of it, and I've tried to get myself out of
Must
it.
be a popular tree.
But, you know, yeah, but walking around and looking at a tree and being like, oh, that's 20 foot up, I can hunt that. Now I'm not doing that. Now I'm finding the sign, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, how are we going to hunt here? Yeah, I got a turkey chair. Okay, it's from Cabela's. It's a real simple, but I set it up on the ground, and I can shoot a bow out of it. So if I got to get in some thick cover that's on the ground, and that's the way I got to hunt that spot, that's the way I'm going to hunt it. If I can only get one stick up in a tree, that's how we're going to do it. The biggest thing is cover. Cover in the wind. As long as you have cover in the wind, it doesn't matter how high or low you are. Your movement's the biggest thing.
And you hit one other thing. For me is sun. I always try to use the sun in my advantage, and I like hunting evenings for the same reason you just said. And two, another reason I don't like morning. When I do hunt mornings, I don't even start moving until gray light. Until I can see, I won't even get out there.
Yeah.
And I piss a lot of people off on public land doing that, and I understand it and I get it. But I've blown out so many deer doing exactly just
Well,
trying to move through at night. I've done that.
If I'm going to go in the morning, I will say this. I'm getting in there early, an hour early, because I have blown deer out, but if in the dark, they don't know what you are.
Right.
But
Ish.
yeah, ish,
Yeah, definitely
right?
an
Ish.
ish.
But they're a lot less prone to being like, man, that's a human, you know? Because I mean, I've walked through the woods. I'll be honest with you. If I knew there was deer in there, I just walked through and moved a little bit. Oh, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
man, there's a cow
Yeah, we don't
coming.
even want to get into the verbal atrocities.
I
right
thought
here.
about that the other day I thought about that the other day. You know, Jimmy and I were walking together, and I was kind of, I think about the bipedal movement on the ground versus two guys on the ground moving at the same time, and I was like, okay, well, back when we were guiding, and it's two of us and then maybe two others.
Mm-hmm.
My mentality was, let's get, you know, when my left foot hits the ground, your left foot hits the ground. Out here, I think it's the opposite. Like I want to sound like a cow going through the brush out here, you know? So it's like I was consciously taking an off step for his step, you know, just to sound like maybe you're just trying all those little stupid.
I think
Do a
the
little turkey
vocalization-
scratching every once in a while.
I think the vocalization, if you just like, we've, and you know, it's tough because like, I mean, J2 holds deer so well.
Yeah.
Is they'll be on the blend, you know, right when it's dark, and you're like, man, I got to get out of the stand, you know, but you got like 8 deer down there. So I've always, you know, I'll go ahead and throw them the big move, you know, and I'll, you know, try to get them to run off, and then I'll get out of the tree.
We always whistle at them. We had a doe. We were trying to get out of a blind one time, and
We were just trying to leave.
yeah, it's doe. We give her a little man, you know, just something, and she just look and we start whistling at her. She pop her head up, and come running to us. Stop and look again.
She want to
big
get in the
whistle,
blind with us.
Whistle again. She just like a damn dog. Well, so you was about to go with something a second ago.
Yeah. We were talking. What were we talking about?
Well, you're talking about the tripod. So are you?
No. It was after the tripod. It was something.
We was
that
talking about hunting the evenings and the
cover.
sun to your back.
Oh yes.
And their
yeah.
eyes.
So what you're actually seeing, okay, is you're seeing 2 different versions getting the same end state.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Your toolbox is limitless. I mean, it's limitless.
Depending
I've
on your
killed-
wallet size.
Yeah. Well. Not only that, I'm talking about in like strategy.
Oh yeah.
Because 2 years ago, I killed Scar
Yep.
on my knee
On the
in
ground.
Sumac
Yeah, on the
and
ground.
Cedar, just because I had him patterned, okay, as to which trail he was coming out of bedding, and it was a gamble, and I ended up getting 15 yards downwind off his trail and the best cover that I could get, and then putting an arrow in him at about like 9 yards. He just never
On the
had-
ground. That's
And we're
some ground
talking an
shots.
8.5-year-old whitetail.
See, and they don't get that old from being stupid.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
No.
And so those are the kind of things right there, man. You kind of like take that, put it in your sack.
Sure.
And know one thing moving forward.
How old was that deer?
8.5.
8.5. Can you explain the brush, the area you shot him in, and the surrounding area? Because I think that's going to be important for anybody wanting to hunt public land. What these mature bucks prefer. What time of day was it?
It was
like
about an hour
5:30,
before
right?
dark.
About an hour
in the
before.
evening.
Or 5, well, probably 5. That's
Yeah.
probably about 5.
So he's
Did you
getting
come
up.
over there for that one?
I wasn't over there for him. No, I met you at
I think
VJMP
Jesse and
to take
Jesse and
pictures.
Justin.
Yeah.
They ended up driving up there for that. Well, yeah. No, it was a I prefer to hunt the open, the edges and the open.
Yeah.
I prefer. I don't prefer going into the canopy. It's just not me. I've noticed over the last few years a lot more bigger bucks that are out on the Cedar Flats and on the Sumac Flats. And I don't know why. Some of me wants to say maybe it's the expansion of the saddle and everybody getting up.
Pushing. Yeah.
Are we pushing the deer out to open ground?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it has a lot to do with hunters not being able to get to them. I'm going to be
Right.
where people aren't, so I agree with that. I think
Yep,
it
I
has
would
because
too.
pressure in the woods. Everybody
They're
that I
smelling.
know,
They're smelling all them hunters in the woods, and they're not getting no same sense in the
well,
open.
everything I notice is that everybody wants to be in a canopy, and the canopy you're going to blow more deer out getting in Central Texas canopy because it's not always easy to get through.
And if you want to, and if life as you know it, bedding come September, through September, you can't count on none of it.
Yeah.
Don't count on any of it because the people naturally are going to want to migrate. It's just like a giant area. If you take a big giant area and you look at it from a map, I kill more deer on the fringe
On the
of an
borders.
area,
Yeah.
on the border, than I do down in the woods.
People coming in, pushing out.
Yes, and so naturally, why is the reason behind that? I think the reason behind that is you got a lot of younger guys, you know, and they're watching all these hunting podcasts and all this stuff, you know, and they see woods. They got to be down in the woods.
Yeah.
You know, they got to be
What would we
deep.
doing up here in this little bit of sumac?
Yeah.
Well, no. As soon as you go down into the woods,
Well, it ties
He's
right into
coming
the
out.
pattern. Yeah, it ties right into the pattern. They're patterning us.
yes,
So,
he's
yeah,
coming out.
They're
exactly.
patterning
They
us.
do.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking. Me and Ben was talking about that the other day while we were out there. Like these deer will pattern you. They will pattern you.
Also, you know, there's also kind of like that mentality, and you hit the nail on the head, Jimbo, about how, you know, you watch a lot of these podcasts, you know, I'll name drop a little bit, Hunting Public, guys like that, you know, and they get out to an area and they glass miles deep, and they're like, I got to get in there. So these younger hunters, they're watching that and they're saying, I got to get deeper into that.
Those guys are a different animal, though. Like Jimbo was saying, those guys, they're a Z.
Yeah,
but this is what also.
What are they learning? People are learning from
Yeah.
that,
Yes.
and they're going to try to replicate that.
But they don't understand their skill set based off the Hunting Public.
I don't
guy's
even
skill
think
set.
it has to do with the skill set. When you watch some of those places, you have to understand the terrain in which they're in and the property
That's
in the
fair.
in the like. So it's like if they're going out there and they're seeing something a mile away. If you go out west, some of these out west public land tracts are huge.
Right.
And out west does not have near the hunting pressure
Yeah.
that the southeast does, the northeast does. Because I'm gonna
We're gonna hear about that shit.
Because I'm going to tell you what, there's more, and anybody can say what they want, but there is more, like I hunted Arizona public land.
Yeah.
There is more, hands down, more hunters just on Fort Hood than I ran into.
Really?
In my little,
I met you.
In my little.
Ran into you on Fort Hood with
Yeah.
Cleaver.
Oh, yeah, with Justin. Oh,
Yeah, you could throw a rock out here and run into a public land.
Well, and that's the thing. So, like, I go to Arizona, and me and my buddy, you know, out there, it's different. You can drive side by sides and everything on all the public land out
wow.
there.
Yeah.
I guess you have to, huh?
Well,
Well,
yeah,
it's-
there's
Yeah.
huge. I mean, it's
expansive.
expansive. It's
Sure.
huge. So there are places where you can dive in the middle of somewhere, and you know you can find that big buck that probably very rarely ever sees a human.
Sure.
Okay, but you're diving into different animals, very nomadic, not doing the same thing all the time.
I'd say that's a fair statement.
And then you come places like this. It's like, well, you dive in the middle. You know, you probably done pushed all those deer out because there is so many people. And it's not the same people every weekend.
Yeah.
You know, you got so many different people going in there. You don't know who's coming behind you, who was there before you. You know, finding untouched land on Fort Hood is
Well, I'll tell you
next to near impossible.
one tactic that I do for public, and if y'all can share some of yours too, is, and we kind of hit on it, is sometimes I look where people are going to hunt. If it looks really good, if it looks really deery, somebody's going to be there. A couple of people are going to be there. And I'm not going there, man. Exactly. I'm not going there.
Because, you know, it's tough. And you got all these podcasts that everybody watching, and you're like, blow up a topo map.
Yeah.
This is where you need to be.
Yeah.
This is where you need to be. So then you got somebody over there got that YouTube up, and they got a map up of where they're hunting. They're like, oh,
Yeah,
man,
and they find something that match relates.
Oh, yeah. And they're like, this is where I'm going.
Everybody else thought the same thing.
I call myself unconventional. I hunt a lot of sets that are not what you would believe to be a set.
But do you do that with what Jimbo said earlier as far as getting out there ahead of season? Or for us, we didn't get to get out ahead of season, so we're really
learning
behind.
We're learning it now.
And but you need to get out there. Are you glassing that area? Are you setting up on it and watching it for a week or so, or a few days?
So some areas I'll glass. A lot of it I'll read deer sign. Some of it is historical because we did have trail cameras, right? So if you had bucks in the past, you know that, you know, if you killed, like, you know, I've killed 2 real good deer. I mean, I've killed a few good ones, but 2 real good ones. If those deer are in there, those genetics are still in there.
Yeah.
So I do know that there's an opportunity for me to shoot that same caliber of a deer eventually.
Sure.
You know, you got to wait. But, you know, there is the one thing, you know, that's kind of cool is Texas, to me, mixes a little bit of, like, how I hunted in Florida with how I hunted in Arizona. Because we do have high peaks. We do have a lot of open ground like Arizona, but we do have our drainages and bottoms like Florida does. So I am able to get up, and I'm able to watch deer leave drainages and bottoms and go to other ones, or go to Cedar Flats, or do that from a high vantage point. Like
Or
I did
just
in
run those
Arizona.
fingers from one to the other.
Yep. And I like to get up, and I call them observation sits. So I'll find the highest tree and I'll climb up there, and I'm like, I'm probably not gonna harvest anything today, but I can see forever.
Those are some of my favorite days. I love those.
Yeah, I'm kind of finding myself doing that now. I mean, honestly, you wouldn't go out there without a weapon, right? But
No, don't ever do that.
but I
Oh shit! There's a story there.
but you guys can relate to that because I'm like, in my head, it's like, this is an observation sit.
Yes.
You know, but I mean, I'd be stupid to go out there without a bow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 I don't know if you guys ever hear the terminology we use sometime, pop and drop.
Yeah.
Pop and drop. You know what that is? 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 Pop and drop
I've heard it, but probably not in the way you're about to use it.
So if
Considering
you know you're
the guests we've just had,
so if you know you're gonna be going out to an observation point, okay, you might as well have your bow.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you're always gonna have a little bit of lady luck on your side.
Right.
Lady luck is always part of the equation. But anyway, if you're gonna go out there an observation point, wherever you're gonna go ahead and do the observation point, go ahead and do a pop and drop, 5 pounds, 10 pounds blend. Get the PDTs in there. Right. The deer already know what it is. It's been in the area. Okay. And then pull your observation point. Worst case scenario, man, you don't see anything, but you get the data you wanted is why you set up the observation point anyway.
right?
Or
Or
where did you come from?
yeah,
Yeah.
Dude, how many
100%.
times did that happen?
A lot. You know, it's the deer I killed last year. I'm gonna be honest with you, is the earliest I've ever killed a deer. Killed him second day of the season. Ended up being 145-inch 9-point.
Yeah, you even on the second day, you
I mean,
can't pass that up.
Oh no, and I had pictures of him through 2 years prior. Because one of the traits that he had was he has a brow tine that was crooked, so I called him the Crooked 9. And I'll tell you how this hunt went, and this is just to show people that you don't always have to be doing everything right. Okay, so I ran into those guys I was running the stand late, and I was real late, and I was like flying down the highway. I told Jimbo, I said, man, they're gonna be able to see my smoke trail from. Who knows, from main post, because that's how hot I was flying down the road. I get out there, and I'm trying to do everything right. So I grab my stand, I throw everything on, and I basically running to the stand, because I got like an hour and 15 minutes left
Of shooting light?
of shooting light. And I'm like, we just got to get in the stand.
I don't think I would have even went.
There was a thought went through my head. It might have been an hour and 30 minutes, all right, but it wasn't a lot. And I run and I go get in this stand, and it was the perfect north wind, and we don't really ever get a north wind at the beginning of the season here in Texas. And I climb up the stand. I climb up the tree to go hang my stand, and I left the strap to hang my stand to the tree in the truck. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Run down the tree, run all the way back to my truck, grab the strap, run all the way back, climb up the tree.
I would have called it.
Man, I was real close, and
Shot a 140-inch plus deer.
yeah, so then I get up, and I'm telling you right now, this is all going through my mind. I get the stand hung, I get the bow pulled up. I'm like, you know what? We probably ain't going to see nothing tonight. I said, but you know what?
And this is early season in Texas. You're soaking wet. You're sweating your ass
I'm
off.
up there, and I got Scent Thief. I had Scent Thief with me, and, I'm up in the air on that Scent Thief stuff. I said, well, you know what? We got to try something, because it is 98 degrees. I said, I'm all about trying something. So I had I took my shirt off. I always bring a spare shirt in early season. So I took my shirt off, threw it in my bag, took a spare shirt, threw it on. It's already kind of getting soaked again, because I'm already done.
Yeah.
And then I threw, Jesse makes, designs a camo, and I designed a camo with him. And I'm sitting there, I said, man, I ain't going to see nothing. I said, but thank you, Lord, for letting me just be out here and enjoy this sunset. And I've been in there just staying 45 minutes, and I look behind me, and I just see the field goal post basically coming through the woods.
Is this really happening?
Yeah, and I was like, ain't no way. I said, I grabbed my bow.
Pinching yourself?
And this is where it's like different with big mature bucks. He comes in there, and he is so locked on the blend. And he's like facing me. And
The
I'm
J2?
Like, yeah. And I'm like, get up. I was like, you need to just turn on the J2 or something. But he's just facing directly to me. But I know my arrow setups. And I was like, man, if he doesn't turn, I'm going to drill him right through the spine here in a second. I knock my binoculars out of the stand. I'm scraping the tree. I'm yelling. I'm everything. This deer won't turn.
Dude, I think he's old, blind, deaf, and
I
dumb.
think he was something. And then he just turned just a little bit. And I drilled him. And it was like the last 3 minutes of shooting light.
Dang.
120 yards. And I literally sat there after that hunt and I said, what just happened?
How old was that deer?
I think he's 6.5.
6.5?
6.5. He had 5.5 inch bases, biggest, heaviest Texas deer I've ever shot, and it probably will for a while. Cause
That's a beautiful deer.
How heavy?
Hard to beat.
Well, he was 130 pounds dressed, but he had 5.5 inch bases.
Wow.
So I mean, when I picked his rack up, I said this looks like a northern deer.
Yeah.
I mean, and he carried his mass all the way through all of his tines. I think that's what
Like Jimbo says, sometimes lady luck's on your
Yeah, I'll
side
show you
or
a
something.
picture
Yeah,
of him.
you
Yeah.
gotta.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I think that's one ingredient or one piece of the equation that a lot of hunters don't really talk about, and you do got to have a little luck on your side.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can have the most stringent way about that specific setup. Your scent control. You know, obviously, number one, your wind's good, but your scent control on top of your wind. And I always like to talk about that. At the beginning of this, we talked about gimmicks. Okay? I can tell you that everything out there is not a gimmick if used properly. And one of those things is scent lock. Okay? Scent lock is extremely effective if it's used properly. And I can tell you it's a torture test to use it properly.
Okay.
Because 100 degrees,
Yeah.
90 degrees, okay? I call it more of a weight loss program.
Yeah.
Okay? But what I can tell you is that when that scent lock is prepped the way it's supposed to be prepped, worn the way it's supposed to be worn, it is effective. It's effective to the point where I've had big mature deer walk directly downwind of me in my cone, like no doubt, in my cone. Stop. Know something was not right, but continue on, not alerted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I think like a lot of that stuff right there, is it 100% foolproof? No, it's not. But the way that I relate to it is I think it's effective enough to take your human scent from here to here.
They might throw their nose up, but they're not going to throw the tail up
Because
and
they're
round
so
away.
used. A whitetail will judge how far away you are by smell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and so on public land, they're encountering tons of people walking around the whole 9 yards. I believe that stuff can get your scent down if worn properly, and of course the right wind to your advantage,
Right.
where it does give you an edge when you need it.
Well, let me ask this.
You're going to edge over the other hunters at that
Yeah.
point.
Yes.
That's,
Let me ask this. What do you guys do for scent control?
So what I do, and I've pretty much done, well, I've done a lot of different things. I've done the ozone. I've done, and this is what I do now. I just do a scent-free detergent. I always
Okay.
do a scent-free detergent. I leave my clothes outside.
Okay.
And if I am hunting big mature bucks and I'm really in it, I keep my stuff in a tote, and in that tote I have charcoal, activated charcoal, and cedar bombs,
Okay.
cedar limbs, and I just keep my clothes in there. And that's what I do.
So you're doing too much. And I say that as a joke.
Yeah.
I say that as a joke because I'm not doing enough. But I do not use scented laundry detergent to wash my hunting clothes. I keep them outside too. I just hang them outside the back patio there, and I just leave them out there. But is that getting scents from the neighborhood? We live in a neighborhood.
Man, he
here.
just grilled hot dogs yesterday.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So you got it out in the neighborhood, so that's not doing the justice. I don't wear the scented deodorant, and try not to bathe with a scented.
Oh yeah, I mean
all those things.
Dude,
but
I don't even put beard oil. Well, I just there's a bad story there about the beard thing.
But as far as
yeah.
smoke, I know down in South Texas when we used to hunt down there,
Yeah.
we used to use the campfire smoke.
That's the
You
oldest.
did not get to the woods without stepping over that campfire.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it was
that's
just,
the oldest. That is the oldest.
Yeah, it's the Indians,
That's
Native
the
Americans.
oldest carbon. That's the oldest carbon. So that's the oldest way of getting carbon. Carbon is smoke. Smoke. Carbon is what kills odor.
No, you always
so.
hear about Grandpa
Yeah.
smoking a cigarette. Man, it's a damn big mature buck walk.
That's what I was gonna say.
Well,
I smoked
I-
almost my whole adult life, and I've had deer. I was gonna ask you all that question. Do you think cigarette smoke scares deer away?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and be honest with you. I have a bad habit of smoking cigarettes, and I smoke cigarettes all the time.
I do.
Kill big mature deer all the time.
Thank my man.
I just
I think there are people that go, oh, it'll, smoke doesn't. We talk about a human footprint.
I don't think
Okay.
they know the difference between chimney smoke and cigarette smoke.
I'd agree. And the thing is that's why I like smoke. Smoke is a natural, like car. I said it's natural carbon, and it's going to kill any odor. Doesn't matter if it's human or not. You sit by a campfire, it don't matter what you got on. You could have the best cologne in the world, and that campfire cologne is going to wear it out. But I 100% agree. I don't think they know the difference between a cigarette or a,
What about
campfire.
piss?
I don't think it's alarming. And the reason why I say this, I don't believe it's alarming. I've seen too many times where I've watched a coyote come down the same deer trail that a deer does. I watched a coyote piss. 10 minutes later, I watched that same deer walk down there. Didn't have nothing. Didn't even raise their nose at that coyote pissed right there.
I think it's a proximity thing, like Jim was talking about earlier too. And if they detect some other, like if that coyote was still in the area, if they smelt that coyote, knew it was within distance,
Yes,
know what that
100%.
is. It
but not
probably
because
would
of
have
the
been a different
bodily
outcome.
fluid, because of the presence of it itself.
Exactly.
I will tell you this though, man. When we were guiding hunts, and we'd be out in the woods for days, just working, and we get a client show up,
Oh yeah.
and that client show up smelling like downy or whatever, you could smell them a mile away, and all I could think was, if I can smell you,
Oh, yeah.
because that's the one thing we all know. Like, we'll get away with movement. When I say that, I mean we try to your breakup, your camo, your stealth, not moving, your discipline. We're always trying to say we might be able to fool that deer's eyes. We'll never fool that deer's nose.
There's only one time I think you can fool a deer's nose with that, and me and Jimbo might try it out this next year.
Okay.
But I think if you take a downy covered shirt and pants, and I believe if you put it right next to your J2, and I believe if you feed that J2 and you consistently rotate that downy, consistently rotate that downy shirt and those pants, I guarantee you can go to the woods and downy send it.
I like that theory.
And I guarantee, because what you're doing,
I
is
like
you have
that.
done-
It's
got potential.
You
It
have
does.
done. You have done.
But do you see how?
conditioning.
But do you start to see how the mind works?
Yeah.
These are things
it's
that-
behavior.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Jason, you can, but my brother-in-law that lease we had, he worked down there. Everybody's got their own certain smell, and that dude can just go out and the deer don't give a shit too. Like they smell, somebody that's out there all the time. And
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I believe that could work, man.
I really and
I think when you put that out there for the first week, you ain't gonna see a whole lot, but you give it
No.
a little bit longer.
yeah. Once they associate that there's no danger with that smell,
Yeah.
that's where I think.
What do
you
y'all
can
do
win.
for scent
And that
cover?
plays a big role. That plays a big role too when you're worried about public land, like somebody else hunting your set. I never worry about somebody else hunting my set. I'm in the set and out of the set too much, whether it's between 10 to 2, drop and blend, or swinging through at dark
Yeah.
or first thing in the morning. And so I can tell you that, yes, you may not believe it, but that deer does get oriented, just like he gets oriented to the truck. He gets oriented to your boot set.
Yeah.
I don't change my boots when I'm doing that. I try and wear the same boots when I'm feeding the whole 9 yards. And so when somebody else comes in there, that scent's different. That's
It's
an
new.
automatic red flag.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it does have an effect. And so I really don't worry about other people trying to hunt my
I
set.
just asked Jimmy the other day, and you remember that question I asked you out in the woods?
Which one?
Well, yeah. Let me be a little more specific. I was sitting out there, and I was like, man, I wonder, has anyone tried, like throwing their hunting clothes in a bag of corn?
Oh, my
You know what I mean?
Oh,
And-
yeah.
Let me tell you right now, I've
lot
had
of
so
people,
many J2 berry blend jackets you couldn't imagine, because this is something that I do this all the time. Is I'll empty a sack and I'll throw I'll either empty a sack and or I've bought it in bulk from him before, and I'll have like totes of it, and I'll put my clothes in there. Well, they don't understand those PDTs hold on to that jacket. I don't wear that jacket into the tree stand.
Yeah.
But I get up there and I take that sucker out and I wring it out like a dang,
Well,
I've seen towel. And you know what? I got PDTs flying through the air.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen old
yeah.
timers put sweet feed or some type of attractant, just feed in an old sock, and you just put you put rice in a sock, and then you heat it up or cool it down for a neck or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, say you put some J2 in an old sock and you just drape it around your neck. I've seen old timers do. I've never
I'd
done
probably
that.
just
but
beat it around a tree.
well, that's
Get
what
some more,
That's what it's. You just drape it around. Well, you can hang it on your, hang it wherever. But a lot of people just drape it around their neck, and then they'll take it and just beat it on. Beat
I've
it
never
on.
heard of
a
that, but
tree.
there is a scent company, and I think out of all the scent companies I use, there's 2 companies that I've used that scent killer wise, to me, has worked efficiently for what I want it to do. What was that old company? Hunt Lab? Hunt Lab.
There is a Hunt Lab.
I do
company.
remember
So
Hunt
there was a
Lab.
Hunt Lab company. And it got bought out by somebody, so
Yeah.
it's no longer the original what it was.
Was it Whitetail Solutions or I know what you're
remember?
talking
Yeah,
about.
but there was
I don't
Hunt Lab, and
remember.
that one was good. You had to mix
Came
it.
with its own little can of
Yeah.
mixed powder.
Yeah, and you had
squeeze
to pour it, and it, to me it was like you had to use hot water because if you didn't, it would clump up.
Yeah.
It was just, but it worked really well. But then there's also camo dust, and camo dust comes in a sock, and you just dust yourself.
Oh,
down.
I hadn't even seen that one.
Yeah, so that one I use that one really a lot because that one you dust yourself down just like you're saying. But I've never heard of using a feed in it in a sock and doing it like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, I was gonna.
I've never done it, but I've seen people do it. I haven't personally done it.
PDTs.
Well, you asked
What PDTs? I keep hearing this PDTs.
Yeah, well, I mean that terminology, man, it's pretty plain and simple, man. It's particulate diffusion technology. Okay, and
Particulate diffusion technology.
yes, and so the best way to actually see it in action is on a sunny day. If you happen to have some J2 berry blend, look towards a cedar tree on a sunny day where the cedar tree is dark, and you got the sun shining down onto the cedar tree.
Mm-hmm.
Grab a handful of J2 and throw it, okay? And what you're going to see is you're going to see particulates, okay, in a diffusive state remain uniform when they blow in the breeze.
Yeah, catching
Oh,
the
And I'm-
thermal.
and
okay.
I'm
Yeah,
talking-
they're running
I'm
thermals
talking-
and
Thousands off one handful.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell you how effective a whitetail's nose is.
Yeah,
We don't have to
right.
talk about all those receptors.
or pig.
If he's already been on it and he already knows what it is,
Mm-hmm.
how many of those thousands of PDTs have to make it to him for him to realize, hey, there might be a fresh blend out?
Well, it's kind of like when you step out of the truck at Lowe's. There's PDTs in the air at Lowe's. That dude that's always there
Making hot
cooking,
dogs,
hawking.
man.
Dude,
Right.
that shit smells so good. That's the same thing for them deer,
Yeah.
man. They smell that. If they've had tasted that J2, they smell it.
Yeah.
They know where. Yeah.
So my last handful or my last, what I got it in, I throw it up in the air and I let them PDTs go where they need to go, depending on the wind. I don't know where they're going, but I'm gonna let them go, and wherever the deer's at, they're gonna pick it up and know dinner's served. you know.
What is your favorite things about hunting public land? Like, what is your this is what I enjoy about hunting public land over private. The challenge.
Yeah, well, for sure the challenge.
Number one, the challenge.
I think
challenge.
educated deer is an educated, mature deer that's been hunted. You know, like I talked about One-Eyed Willie, there was another deer I hunted named Torch. Both of those deer, no one I know ever harvested them. Those are 8.5, 9-year-old deer. You know, something to me, and it doesn't even matter to me about the inches that are on the head necessarily. Being able to outsmart and win the chess game against a deer that is that old.
Yeah, that's smart.
That to me shows your effectiveness as a hunter.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, like I have my page Downright Deadly. Like what makes you downright deadly?
Yeah.
You know, I've been hunting long enough where I can go out and kill deer any day of the week.
You know what's funny is you say that. Like, I got humbled. I thought I was a good ass deer hunter, right? And I mean I feel like I can hold my own, right? And I've never been much of a dove hunter, a wing shooter at all. Other than turkey, I love turkey hunting.
Yep.
Other than that, no other birds. Ben loves bird hunting. He's like, dude, we got to get out on some doves and ducks and stuff. And I'm like, dude, if I can slay deer and turkeys and
Oh, yeah.
pigs,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna get out here and show you guys what's up with these birds. Hell no, bro. I need to stick with bows and rifles, keeping shotguns out of my hands from now on. So it's funny you say, like, what makes you downright deadly? You think you know what, you are downright deadly on one thing until you get humbled with something else. And it was just something I hadn't experienced, and that it did humble me.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm taking the journey with Jimbo because I've always been I'm going to say, that's why I say I'm a V hunter. I'm very obsessed with deer hunting itself, but I'm also obsessed with archery.
Yeah.
So I don't really pick up a gun ever unless it's a shotgun to hunt turkeys or doves or something like that. And I like the flight of an arrow. And so Jimbo's got me on the recurve train. So
Nice. That's
so
cool.
last year I harvested my first deer ever with a recurve. And,
Congrats. That's badass.
And so then it was a doe, but she was 8-year-old doe, which I was like, well, that's like a trophy buck right there.
Yeah.
8-year-old doe she done seen all
Damn
of
good
her.
mature.
Should have
Yeah.
a tooth in her head.
Yeah. So then, so now I just got a Kodiak Magnum that's in the mail coming to me, and that's going to be I think, as I get older, I'll probably start putting down the bows with wheels, and I'll probably just start going.
That's what you see. So you've been doing a lot of maybe some longbow hunting. As you see
Right.
that experience, you said you started at 1857. When did you're 57 now? Is that what you said?
57, yep.
57 now. When did you pick up that longbow?
I picked up a recurve from probably about the time that I was 6 or 7, just playing with it in the backyard. We had a bunch of cornfields back there with ringneck pheasants, and so I just got to shoot all day long as a kid, yeah. Everything was beautiful until I put an arrow in my dad's pool pillow, but that's besides the point. Dad, you're out there. I love you. You remember that issue. I know you do. And so another thing that's kind of unique, not to twist the story a whole lot, is that in Pennsylvania, you take your hunter education, you can't take it till 12.
Oh, they put okay.
Yeah, to 12 years old. So
that forces you to hunt with someone who's
yes, either out there with somebody, but actually being able to pull the trigger and shoot, and you can't do it. I mean, it's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed now, all the people that I've met from Pennsylvania, they are diehard hunters. And the more I think about it, I think it's, as we get older, we learn different things about psychology, things like that. Mm-hmm. So here you are at 3 years old, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and you're watching every year the guys leaving, going to deer camp.
Yeah, it's just building up that. I want to go.
Building that up. It's like a fire. Right? Yeah. It's an internal fire.
It's like when your parents told you couldn't stay out past 10. You're like, man, I can't.
And so you smoke hunter ed. Okay, you smoke it. You got your certificate. I don't think a lot of people realize at that point what you just let loose in the woods.
Yeah.
He's been waiting 12 years to get in the woods.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that passion to do this, that passion to chase big mature animals, to take it to the best and do your best, start small.
Yeah, it's been festering.
Yes, that's it. Just festers. And I honestly believe that's part of the reason.
Man, I could see something happening here in Texas, and I'm going to talk about it. I'll talk about it. I think there's a lot of people, a lot of adult, I'll say guardians, uncles, dads, moms, ruining young hunters here in Texas right now. And here's why. There's a lot of access to big buck hunting. Whether it's high fence, get on a low fence and you get access to a good buck, on low fence or whatever. But these parents are putting these real young kids on trophy bucks at a real young age, man. And I've seen it just guiding hunts and doing that. And Dad wants to put them on a big buck. And I'm like, man, I really think you ought to kind of
tone it down a bit.
Build them up.
Yeah.
Because what does a average hunter, once you get that trophy, you almost kind of go to a different species, or you're like, I've hit my trophy. There's very few of us that are trying to beat our PB, but there's a lot of guys that you hit a 140 plus, and I'll say it here, a 140 plus is a big deer, man.
That's a trophy deer.
No,
that's a big deer.
This is the thing that gets misconstrued. A deer, especially with archery equipment, if it's 125 or better, it's a good deer.
Yeah.
125 is the minimum requirement to get into Pope and Young record book. If it can get into the Pope and Young record book, that is a good deer.
Let's call it a trophy.
It's a trophy deer regardless of where you
By
get
classification, you just said it. By classification, with a bow, there's a
maturity level there that some would argue.
Yeah. I mean,
but it all depends also if you want to chase the numbers game. Mm-hmm. Some people don't want to chase the numbers game.
Yeah.
And I mean, a damn example of that would have been Scar.
Oh, yeah.
What's Scar? 110?
No, he's one. No, well, Scar. No, Scar. I thought was like 115 or something.
8.5-year-old, massive one-eyed deer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He lost an eye, scarred the hell. I mean, just
an old warrior.
Oh, dude, big time. You could have nightmares about this dude.
Would you say he was on the decline, or was he just?
He was definitely on the decline when I took him. Yeah, he'd already. Back then, we could use game cameras. Okay, and so we saw the difference between the year before from the time that we had.
So it was documented he was on the decline.
Well, and that's the thing. is everybody go, oh, well, based off the inches of the antler, he's not a trophy.
Right.
No. An 8-year-old deer is an 8-year-old deer. It doesn't matter where you at. It doesn't matter what he got on his head. I'm going to tell you right now, that 8-year-old deer is 10 times smarter than that 3.5, 120, 130 that somebody's seen.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
That's why I was saying some would argue maturity level there
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
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 But see, that's the thing is, you know, I see it a lot where they, you know, these young kids get put on that trophy buck, and that kid's done. You know, it's it's like breaking your kids at 8 years old because you pushed them so hard in T-ball and then the next level, and you just you were out there tying their right hand behind their back and saying you're going to learn how to throw left-handed, and you just beat them up, and by the time they got to high school, that kid was done.
He doesn't want it. Yeah.
It's just kind of the same concept. You know, I fear that in a lot of these guys, and we see it all the time.
Well,
I'm going to get a lot of hate.
You see it a lot on Facebook. You know, congratulate my 4-year-old daughter. She took this 170-inch deer. You know, so
I don't know about all those posts either, dude.
That's what I'm saying. No, it's cool. Dad had a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you one I saw the other day. I thought that was really cool, and it was on the Hunting Public's page. And I don't know if he's on the Hunting Public or not, but I'm going to tell you this. This was cool. Is the dad took out a regular hang-on stand, okay? The son is sitting in the stand. The dad is saddle hunting, so the son is in front of him.
That's cool.
And this monster comes in. And his dad's got the GoPro on and everything, and he's got a recurve in his hand. And he drills this deer.
The
with
kid
this,
does?
No, the dad.
Oh.
So he drills this deer with this recurve, and his son is right in front of him, is 4 years old, and his son's like,
That's cool.
dude.
That's
you know,
cool.
like, I think that right there.
Now that's cool.
That's an instant addiction.
That's
Yeah.
like, he's like, man, I'm just with my dad, and he just drilled this giant deer, like, and then he like gets down, looks at his son, and his son is just on cloud.
He's not going to be able to pull that boy out of a
Especially
tree
if that
during
young
season.
Especially if that young man got to capture maybe a little bit of that buck fever. You know, I still get it. You know what I mean? And if his dad was plump, maybe had a little shake. Did you see that, son?
He didn't pull the Luke Bryan, did he?
No, you see the GoPro. You see the end of the, like, I don't even know if he was shooting wooden arrows or what. It's a 3-blade broadhead, and that thing is just about to fall off the bow. You know? And you're like, I can't even imagine what I would feel like. One, I'm about to shoot one of the biggest deer of my life.
Yeah.
But I'm over here taming this 4-year-old. Yeah. You're like, I hope you don't mess this up. You know, like, there's many factors that go into that.
That stress level, stress level of a monster buck. You're shooting a longbow or a recurve, and you got a 4-year-old below you.
Hey,
don't sneeze, don't fart,
and
don't
you don't
laugh,
know. He doesn't know how to handle the situation. He's never been in that before, so he's
Get
just
him,
watching
Daddy!
you. He's just like,
Right?
you know.
yeah, that's cool, man. I like seeing
that's a way
stuff
cool scenario.
Yeah.
I took my little brother hunting one time when I was a teenager, and I say teenager, hell, I was probably 12, and black powder, and I pulled up. We were just sitting on the ground, and he was over here on my right side asleep, or I thought he was asleep. Same thing, had a big buck coming in, dude. I pull up, I'm getting ready to shoot this thing. I hear some leaves over here, and I look over my brother, little brother. He's probably like 6. He sits up, and he's like, he calls me brother, and he's like, brother, deer. There you go.
But you know what? You still got the story.
Yeah, I do, and it's better. We laugh about it to this day. Every
Yeah.
year we laugh about it.
So let me hear a story from you guys. From Jimbo, what is your most memorable hunt?
The most memorable hunt. You know what it is.
Which one?
Mega.
Oh man.
Y'all got a lot of damn deer names.
Now, let me
Well,
tell you.
hey, on the
Let
deer
me tell
name
you.
thing, I never used to name deer. Okay,
Then he
but
met Danny.
when you start hunting with a group of guys,
Yeah, you guys
it
have
doesn't
a
matter
circle.
what they are, A to Z.
Sure.
Okay, but when you're in a group of guys, it's much more easy to use a code name, Mega.
Yeah.
And hey, you remember that 9-pointer, 17 inches?
Sure,
wide,
yeah,
2
absolutely.
G2s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows.
We
now.
named too. We named all of our lines
We
out
named
there.
does then.
How was your hunt? Oh, it was great, dude. I had Mega come in, didn't have a shot. Blah, blah. He knows what deer I'm talking
There you go.
about. And then also trackable eyes. We're hunting the same areas. Man, hey, I saw Mega. Where was he at? Oh, damn.
Okay.
Let's start putting that puzzle together. You know,
Yeah.
so code names are they got a purpose. But so I'll never forget. This was a 22.5-inch wide 8-pointer. gorgeous animal, real heavy tines. His damn brow tine is 7-8 inches each.
Good night.
Daggered back, right? Just beautiful animal. I had picked this deer up like 2 years before, and when I saw him on camera for the first time, I was just like, you know, when you see that deer, you're like, oh damn.
When he's
I'm gonna do
riding.
what it takes. I'm not getting any sleep this season. Okay, A to Z. I'm gonna get an arrow in that deer, and so I hunted all I hunted all the early season into November, and then it was like about a week before Thanksgiving. I don't know what it is about Thanksgiving week, but I have killed
A lot of deer.
3 or 4 really good deer.
Same as
on
me.
that week.
That's just
And it was a warm day. We just had a cold front came through, and it was warm again. It was like a Tuesday evening, and I get in the stand at like 4 o'clock, you know, and I'm like, man, this has been like a long season already, because when we're hunting, we damn near hunt every day.
yes.
Mostly evenings?
Yes,
Or-
mostly evenings. Every once in a while, we'll pull a morning.
Mm-hmm.
So here you are, you know, you're into it, 45 hunts at this time.
Gets grueling at that
Oh,
point. Yeah.
yeah, you know.
The
100%.
grind, man.
Yeah.
The grind.
You almost get to the point where you're burnt out. You're like, man, I don't even know if I want to go. Because that was the day. No, I remember this day 100%. Because Jimbo texted and said, I don't think I'm going to go today. And I said, you better get in the stand.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And I told,
Yeah.
because I mean, he was like, because I think you worked a little late that day or something. And he was like, I ain't going. I said, no, you better get in the stand.
Most
And he went and got
memorable
in the
hunt.
stand that day.
Wasn't even
Yeah.
gonna go.
And so I get up in the tree at about, like I say, it was early. In fact, it may even been before like 4 o'clock. I just remember being in the tree for what it seemed like an eternity. Got my bow hung up. I'm sitting there. And it was early. It was like, man, like 4 o'clock, maybe 4:30. And I happened to hear something, and I looked down. And I had the blend pile at about maybe 18 yards from the stand. And I happened to turn my head and look like this, and when I looked, all I could see is this big wide frame walking really slow towards the blend pile. And one thing about those mature deer, okay, when you really see a mature deer and he has no clue that you're anywhere near him, everything he does is slow motion.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Methodical movements.
I've watched them come in. I've watched them drop their head, do scrapes, rubs, and that head's not moving. It's like he's locked on everything, any movement at all. But anyway, back to the story. I'm watching this son of a gun, and he's coming straight up to the blend pile, and there was like no wind, nothing at all. My bow's still in the damn hanger. I mean, he caught me by total surprise. 4 o'clock. I'm not even like really paying attention, you know.
Not even expecting him, bro.
No, how I remember it is you weren't going to get in the stand, and what happened is you said I'm going to go anyway, and you say it's early, but you got to remember we're in November,
Right.
so it's 4:30, so it's technically you're a little late to the stand.
Right.
It's early.
Well, it seems
yeah,
like
no, because you went out there and you were like, I think you were in the stand for 45 minutes.
Right.
I think that's how long you were in there before you called me.
And my biggest battle at that point was getting the bow off the hanger and in position to even attempt to draw.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And if there's one thing that's a fact, okay, about J2 Berry Blunt, is its capability to attract foxes.
Yes, 100%.
Foxes.
Yeah.
If you hunt
Great
with
fox.
J2 Berry Blunt long enough, it's the reminiscent berry smell. It draws foxes. Okay. And so, just to show you that we're on the Z side of the bracket right there.
Yeah.
That was our alarm to sign out
Oh.
off public land.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's how bad it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got 3 alarms set.
Yeah.
But so I got my hand on the riser, and I'm looking at a way to try and get this thing off the limb. And I hear something from my right, and I look, and here comes 2 gray foxes. And they are not slowing down. You know how they run together? You see their tails flying around, and they're kicking up leaves. Okay. And they roll over there. Well, I look over to Mega, man, and Mega's head's up. And he's wondering, like, what in the world is this? But he's not spooked. Tail's not up. You know, he's foxes. He obviously can identify them. But he started getting a little uneasy.
Okay.
And he turned. And he started quartering away, like walking like a half circle. By this time, I had the foxes in front of me. And they're making noise on the leaves. So I said, it was like now or never, man. And I freaking just
Use
drew
them as
the bow.
cover.
Yeah, as kind of a cover. And I got away with it. Everything was beautiful. I got away with it. The fox is just standing there, and he's standing there. And I laid the pin up on the shoulder blade, dropped it into the T area, and touched off that release. And it looked like an extremely good shot, but my shot angle was off a little bit. What I was using swackers.
Oh, yeah.
And what I ended up doing was pulling a brisket shot.
Oh.
Didn't know it.
He bled like a son of a gun.
Oh, he did. We even put a dog on it. Okay. And this is just to show you how crazy this stuff really is. We looked for that deer for 2 days. Okay. Remember, we couldn't find him. We're authorized to run cameras at this point. A week later, he shows up on another blend site.
Oh, no.
Holy
Okay.
crap.
So this is the first time you shot
Yes,
at him.
the
This
first
is
time.
okay. Okay.
The first
sorry.
time.
The one I'm thinking
Yes.
of is the second time.
Oh, yeah. No, not the second time.
Okay.
That was a redemption hunt.
Yeah.
So this is like a 2-year hunt.
Okay, I was about
Because
to
so
say
here
this.
we are on public land. This dude right here, man, he's already got an arrow in him. He survived. I got him on camera a week later. Makes the story shorter. I went in there and I was able to pull a successful hunt on the blend pile. Altogether, what? How far was that?
Oh, well, that's a minute. It was a little.
Mile and a half?
Oh, this is a mile and a half. Yeah, for
Mile and a
at
half from the
least,
original
yeah,
set?
At least.
And put an arrow in the second year, which turned into
That I was thinking. So the second hunt is where he said he wasn't going to go,
Yeah.
and then he went and got in the tree, and then
See-
it was like 45 minutes later, I'm in a tree, but like I only know something's wrong with Jimbo is if he's calling me before it's shooting lights up.
Yeah.
All right, and this man will blow your. If he shoots a big deer, it don't matter if it's if you got
Everybody's
20,
gonna know.
If you got 25 minutes of shooting light
Same
left,
way.
let me tell you right now, he's over here. Burr, burr. I'm like, hello. He's like, I just shot Mega. You know,
well, dude, I'm telling you, man, it's
yeah.
with the group of people that we hunt with, okay, by natural selection of how we hunt and what we're hunting, when the phone goes off, you're going.
It's unspoken rule.
Yeah.
Unspoken rule.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Whether it's an emergency, whether it's the old, I got blood.
Same thing. Yeah, we.
Yep.
Dude, when you get that text, all right, babe.
I'll tell you,
know, wife's like, dinner's done. I gotta go, babe. I'll be back.
I'll tell you, I got a funny hunt story. It wasn't my favorite hunt, but it was a funny story. So, I shot this doe, and then, I didn't make a great shot on her. I ended up having to finish her off. Long story short on that, but I'm like looking for this deer, and I got the same thing. Shot her with a schwacker. I'm like, man, I got blood like 600 yards, but then it just stopped.
I see a common denominator
Yeah, I
here.
know.
Schwacker.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it's
know.
mechanical, right? So
Yeah, well, just
Changes
long,
things.
long story short on that, I don't shoot any mechanicals anymore. I'm a fixed blade only guy. But I called Jimbo. I said, I need you to bring a light out here and come look for these.
Oh,
come
I know.
look
I
for
remember
these.
this.
Yeah. And so I said, I need you to come help me. And it was me and my buddy Dylan and Jake. And I was like, Jimbo, just pull up here on this road. I'm going to run out there and meet you. Just park your truck there and you just come down with me instead of driving to where I park. He's like, okay. So he parks his truck. I remember we take maybe 20 steps into the woods. And he just blew this skunk out. And this skunk just lights Jimbo up.
Lit me.
And I'm on the
I'm
inside.
talking like
and
eyes
I'm like,
watering.
and I am on the inside. And I'm like on the inside of him, and you just see this skunk running off. He's like, he got you. I said, no, he didn't. I said, he got you. I said, well, and we're walking up, and Jake and Dylan are both looking for blood. I said, don't say anything. I said, don't say nothing. I said, we're just going to act like nothing happened. And we're just going to be looking for blood. We're just going to start just looking like nothing ever happened. Because they didn't hear anything that happened, And I'm just like, my nose hairs are burning. All I can smell is skunk.
You got tears coming down.
And I told Jimbo, I said, well, you ain't got to do no cover spray for the next month. You're fine,
good.
And so we get down there, and they're like, man. And one of y'all boys just get hit by a skunk. We're like, we do not know what you're talking about. They're like, man,
No.
it smells terrible here. Well, then we end up having the game warden roll up on us, okay?
Game warden rolls.
So
up.
game warden rolls up on us, And they're over here like, let's see your permits. You know, what are you guys doing? The whole thing. And they're like, one of y'all get hit by a skunk? And they're like,
Did you do the whole? I don't know what you're talking about.
and I said, yeah, I think at that point we were like, oh yeah, one of they're like, we don't want to see anybody else's stuff. We're just gonna leave y'all alone.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Note to self.
Yeah, so we were like, all right, so they left, and that was long story short. Like, you know, we ended up finding that deer and had to do a second shot on her. But him getting sprayed by that skunk was probably one of the most comical moments.
Yeah, you don't realize, man. You don't realize. You know, you smell skunks when you're going down the road that have been hit. You know, you'll have some go off on the side of a trail or whatever. But it's not until you've been hit do you realize how strong
I was worried about it the other day on 37. I smelt it in the area, and I started looking around. I'm getting a little nervous and stuff.
I see him. I'm like, oh, Pepe Le Pew out there.
Yeah.
You know, I leave him alone.
But I will tell you, man, if it ever does happen to you, man, just whatever dishwasher, no, whatever liquid you're using for your washer, and white vinegar.
Yeah, white vinegar. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. But,
I had a pet skunk when I was a kid. I caught
Yeah?
a skunk as a baby and had it as a pet in the house, clean, just like a little cat, man.
Yeah.
They're like a kitten. Pretty badass pet, really.
Still had its, you know.
Yeah, still
so-
never got it sent. Glenn, take it. It sprayed dogs, put it outside. Dogs come up to it, spray shit out of a dog, but come back in the house, right? You don't smell it.
Yeah.
You don't
I
smell it.
heard you can remove them.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I want to circle back because I didn't get to tell you all this. And so we're talking about scent game.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you how I do it. I kind of combine everything. All right.
Okay.
I have a little bit of scent lock. I have some scent blocker, you know. Jimbo calls it the knockoff.
I'll spray
scent
my
lock,
bu- yeah,
you know.
I'll spray
He's
it
like, that's that knockoff scent lock, you know, whatever. It is what it is. But so my thing is I believe the ozone to an extent, okay, because ozone does kill odor.
If it gets
Okay.
it all.
So I wash my clothes in scent-free clothing, or I mean scent-free soap.
Yep.
Take them out of there. I put them in a room that's got an ozone machine, and I ozone them. Now, to me, they're scent-free. There's no odor on them except for ozone itself. I take them straight from that, and I put them in a tote like you're talking about. That's got cedar branches and everything else. So now I've taken something that's scent-free, and the only scent that's incorporated into it is the natural smell
cedar.
of where I'm hunting.
Yeah.
That's how I do my scent control. And it doesn't matter if it's scent lock, scent blocker,
So your
at
clothes-
Walmart, whatever it is. That's the only way I
Your
do
clothes are good and everything, and you know, I mean, your skin's gonna have a scent, your breast's got a scent, everything's got a scent. So, scent control is one of the most important things. But I think it's important for everybody to know that you will never beat that nose.
No.
100%.
No, you never will. That's why always rule number one is always you got to have the wind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, this is an add-on. Mm-hmm. Don't try to avoid not doing the first step. You're gonna get blown every time.
Yep.
I know we've been going for a while, but I want to ask y'all one question that me and Ben kind of talked about today, and I want to get y'all's thoughts on it. And it's kind of a localized, well, maybe not localized, but it's definitely a Texas thing, and I know it's throughout some other states in the country. 14-inch restriction. Your thoughts on that?
13.
Or 13.
All right. Okay. So I think that the 13-inch restriction is not necessarily the greatest way to manage deer. I think a points restriction, like I hunted Georgia. Georgia was 4 points on one side at least, you know. You know, that was theirs, was 4 points on one side for it to be a shooter. Only reason why I say that is I have had some big deer that I'm talking about. I mean big deer,
Yep.
160 class deer that are borderline 13 inches,
Yep.
12 and a half inches, and you're over here like, man, I just don't know if you, and you know what, and it makes you're like, man, I don't know, I might just roll the dice on that
Yeah.
one, you know, but I think that there are mature deer, and if they keep breeding and those genetics continue to
go.
prevail, I do believe you're going to have like, what'd you say, Mega's 22 and a half inches?
That's
a huge,
So,
huge
That's
spread.
what Texas is known for.
Yeah, but you have a 22 and a half inch big buck, right?
Yep.
We had a buck we called ET. All right, ET probably had 6-inch bases, but I'm going to tell you right now, ET was probably 9.5 to 10 inches wide.
Yeah.
He was like a pronghorn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, his literally
And-
his horns had the mass of a pronghorn.
and he had a body like a tank, just a huge body buck. You take a 22 and a half inch wider, you take like that buck I was trying to kill Willie. Willie was probably 20 inches, right? and you take that 20-inch wide buck versus a 10-inch wide buck that's built like a brick shit house. That brick shit house 10.5 inch is gonna just wear that big deer out because his antlers are too big.
He's equipped a little better, really. What do you think, Jimbo? Are you a fan of the antler restriction?
You know, when we talk about the level of what hunters can do in the woods as far as their judgment on an age class here, okay. If a guy is a seasoned hunter, okay, and he can look at that deer, okay, or in this scenario, you're authorized to use a game camera, and you can prove over the footage this is a 3.5-year-old deer or older, okay, there's no reason why you should not be able to harvest that deer, contact a game warden, show them everything you have right there, because this deer is not doing justice to
For the
deer.
gene pool.
It's not. It's just not.
No, I had a deer. What was that? Torch. I mean, Torch is a fine example. Torch was, when I first seen him, I think we got pictures of him as a 1.5 years in 2017. He didn't become legal, and I'm talking about barely legal, 13.5 inches, maybe 14 inches. Didn't become legal until 2021.
I think this is a pretty common mindset across a lot of folks and hunters that we've talked. Everybody's kind of got the same mindset. Jimbo, you just said something that nobody has said, and it just made perfect sense, because I've been trying to figure out how, should it be a point system? Should it be that? If you got data and history on that deer, and you can prove it, that is probably the best way.
Yeah,
I love
that's a
it.
fair way.
I love it. That's a great. That's documentable and quantifiable data, right? But personally, man, I think that's too far, and here's why.
Not many people will do it.
Yeah, but what are we doing as a hunting community when we are? So who's the people that get beat up for shooting anything under a 13?
What do you
Like on social media?
Anybody.
Right?
Yeah.
What if that's your son's first deer? Are you a bad dad for showing him how to hunt a small or something illegal?
No, I don't think so. But I do think that antler restrictions in some way, shape, or form do have to be there.
So I agree.
Because,
I think our tags should be so different, and I don't think we should have to call a game warden to say if this deer is legal. I think
you're always going to have exceptions to the rules.
Yeah.
I think we should have I think our tag should be different and just maybe give you 2 8 points, and maybe your 4 does or whatever. But and you get one.
You get one deer that's
deer that's not in any classification under 8 points.
And it could just be changing that one other buck tag.
Well, what that would do is that would kind of get us to start shooting more mature deers, right? And then those deers can still be harvested legally, and we are still. But see, that's the thing, because it's always the honor system, right? You're always going to have somebody that pushes the limit of the legality part of it. But what we do need to do is take more of those. We need to take more of those bucks that are not in the 13. We need to take them
mature,
out.
Well, let me tell you this. The one that I have the biggest complaint about is that you can only kill one buck over 13 inches per county.
Yeah.
That one is I have a problem with, because I can kill a deer. If you look at Fort Hood covers 2 counties. Yeah, Coryell and Belton.
Right.
Now, if I kill a deer in Coryell County on Fort Hood, that means I can't go hunt. I can't hunt Gatesville.
Right.
I can't hunt any private property in Copper's Cove.
Right.
I can't do any of that. And guess what? That deer that I killed on Fort Hood has nothing to do with the gene pool in any of those other places.
Nah, and in South Texas, it's very common down where I'm at, where they're just that tall, narrow Y, and those deer it's just bad genetics. And down there's a 13-inch restriction too. So it's dependent on the counties down there.
Well, yeah, you go to Brady. Brady's like, man, we ain't got no antler restriction.
Yeah.
Burnett County.
Burnett
no
County.
antler restriction.
Right.
But then you got over here, it's like, I'm all for shooting big deer, but they're like, where are you going to shoot your next 13? And I'm like, well, I guess I got to go up north. Okay, I got to go find this other public land out here, because it doesn't say that you can only shoot one 13-inch in the state of Texas, but you can only shoot one per county.
Per county.
And you got to go find those counties.
And I wonder what the data is, and I don't have that in front of me. I guess I should have done a little more
I'm going to
research.
be honest with you. There probably isn't data to support any of that regulation.
That's what I'm
I bet
wondering.
there
Like,
is
how
that.
is it doing in those counties that don't have that that?
Well, I can
that
tell you right
restriction?
now, there's some big deer in Brady.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Brady used to be some of the best
That's like
hunting.
some of the hunter's capital. You know, that's
Exactly.
the hunting
That's
capital.
why
Brady's got axis deer, and they got big deer, big buck, big whitetail. They got a lot of things.
I don't think that antler restriction's doing us any favor in the long run at all. I don't think it's saving any big deer. I don't. That's just me.
You
I
know
think
what's
they're
saving
passing
big
genetics
deer is a
and-
bunch of hunters who don't know what they're doing going out in the woods. That's what's saving
That's a
big
fact.
deer.
How old was E.T. anyway, you think?
Oh man, when ET did he
9?
end up getting hit by a car? Is that what happened with him?
I don't know.
I think
don't
he
remember.
was 9 or 10.
Everybody had him in front of him at
Yeah,
one point.
9 or 10. Just watching.
And to this day, what he was saying, to this day, that is the biggest body deer I have ever seen inside of 25 yards.
I mean, huge.
I mean,
On the hoof.
on the
he
hoof.
was a miniature bull.
Damn.
I'm talking about you seen him. You were
Was he had a
Horns.
sag in his back already?
We're gonna have to go see if we can get
I
those
think I
photos.
got a
You got
photo. I
them?
think I
Pot
got
belly,
a photo.
saggy
Yeah.
back.
His horns were bottle openers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
And we
he
called
was
him Mean
doing
Street
some damage.
because-
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was doing some damage, and we had a couple deer, man, missing eyes. And
Yeah.
I always
Oh, that
wondered,
dude
man, was he part of that equation?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
Not
called him
bad.
ET because we were like, he's extra tall. You know?
Oh, that's where the ET came
That's what I was
from.
wondering. Where's the ET
Yeah,
coming
he's
from?
extra tall, and that's a deer. We did have quantifiable data that he was older than we had about 5.5, and I'd show biologists. I'm like, y'all give me a cold tag for this big boy or what? And they're like, oh, and I was like, man. I would hope. I was like, man, I know them, 2x4s he's wearing on his head. I'm like, I sure would like him to break one off to make it an unbranched antler.
Do y'all think if
You know?
enough smart people get together and, you're kind of like, man, we got to rethink this shit, Texas Parks and
That's
Wildlife.
what I wanted to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of building up. We're talking about doing a lot of research, seeing what the data collection is on that. Maybe getting a biologist
Get
to
the
come
biologists involved.
out. And
Well, okay, so
We need to get cameras back, though.
I think we need to get
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
You need
Bring the
that.
cameras back.
Well, yeah, one, because we can talk on OPSEC and all that, right? Because I did 10 years in the Army, and I still support the Army, and I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot more OPSEC violations than I look some pictures of some
Right.
dirt. There ain't even an
You
OPSEC
can tell by that
violation
by
in
looking
that.
at TikTok.
man, that's a
Oh, it's bad.
that's
So
that rule is it's a
made
CYA. It's a CYA thing. There's enough cell camera. You look like Jimbo said, the TikToks and the bullshit that come out every day
Yeah.
on main cantonment area of a military installation
Or the,
versus out in the woods.
the dash
Come
cams
on,
that
man.
are mapping the whole installation out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things. So it's somebody that's sitting at sitting at a desk. What did old Pete Hegseth say? You got one of them. Whether you're a paratrooper or you're a chair trooper,
Yeah.
it's a chair trooper sitting at a desk somewhere that doesn't know anything, but because it has the word camera in it,
Yeah.
all of a sudden we're scared of it.
Yeah.
And it's a lack of education, really, what it comes down to.
It is.
This is one of the things that'll get it. I mean, the camera itself will get multiple perspectives as well. And I think a little bit different on it. Do I think the camera has an advantage? Well, sure it does. Multiple advantages, especially when it comes to management. Now, all of a sudden, you may want to hold out for an older deer versus not shoot this one because it showed up first.
Right.
Okay, so
That could help.
pick or choose your deer. Okay, selection process.
Yeah.
But I do understand the younger guy's philosophy and how it hurts him so bad. And here's why. I got here at 18. Cameras weren't a thing. They had, trail timers. Remember the trail timers?
I'll show you a
And
picture.
so the trail timer was kick a rope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It set the time off a deer across the path or whatever it was. But cameras weren't really a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we learned square one how to figure out where these deer and duel were doing without the use of a camera. And we did it pretty well. Okay. It took time to figure it out, but we did it well.
That's a big deal.
It's a huge
These kids nowadays, I understand their pain. I understand their pain because they don't know any better and they grew up learning how to hunt with the camera.
Yeah.
So I understand that. I understand why that's hurting you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we don't make the rules. We ain't got no dog in the hunt.
That was
Yeah.
torch.
I just
We ain't got no
I
dog
hear
in the
your
hunt.
story
Nice.
about Mega, And I wonder if you would have had that buck that day, you would eventually got him down. But having them cameras and knowing that it was on a different side, 1.5 miles down.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Who was that deer? David Kipp.
Oh,
David Kipp's buddy.
yeah. He, man, what was his, was it Jarrett? I think it's Jarrett.
Yeah, Jarrett.
But yeah, they shot this deer in this
Bring
area.
this in a little closer.
Oh, yeah. He shot this deer, I don't know. I went to the check station for it, but basically wherever he shot it at, he had missed her. He missed it, right? He had spooked him pretty good.
Oh my
I think it had been like 11 miles.
Wow.
On camera.
On camera.
On a
Same
blind
deer. This guy shot him in one area. I don't know. It might have been like 8 miles. I know it was a long ways. And he had shot at this deer, and you know the rut and everything else can play
Sure.
big dividends in how far that deer moves. But
Especially out here.
And pressure.
yeah, but this deer, he had missed him in this one area and got a shot at him. Same guy got a shot at him and killed him in
That's
this other
great.
area.
That's cool.
You know,
Right.
and it's and there's something to say. Being killed on the J2 berry blend, a pile that far away.
Yeah.
I mean, is that just a coincidence, or is there something more there?
Well, it sounds like it's. I mean, I've heard story after story of deer traveling, multiple mile, hitting different drop sites.
Yeah, the last year, I'll tell you, this was a really cool thing to see. So we were able to. What was it? Last year was the last year of cameras. In September last year, we had to pull cameras, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I was running them. I mean, dude, I was like, we're going to give you this last little bit to run cameras. I'm running them hard. So I found that deer I killed named Midnight, 12 point. And I found him and I found Torch. And I was like, man, it doesn't matter which deer comes in. I'm shooting
Take
either
it.
one of them. Then these aren't deer you just pass.
Yeah.
Well, I was running another area right next to it, and I'm talking about I have a blend pile here, I have a blend pile here, and a blend pile down here, okay? They're all about 1.5 miles from each other. Well, I have them localized in this one spot. Well, I got Torch on 2 blend piles 1.5 miles from each other in the same day. In the evening, and then in, like 45 minutes later,
I was going to say,
at the other one. And I'm because I have cell cameras, so I'm like, man, this dude is bouncing quick. Well, Midnight goes missing. Now I have Midnight almost 2 miles away on another blend pile in another area. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what are you doing? They're just not doing. I lose Midnight and don't see him again. Lose Torch, don't see him again. That's where Velvet came off. They're doing their own thing. It's Veterans Day. Can't hunt this year. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Ruin
that.
of Veterans
But,
Day for a
I'll
bunch
tell
of
you,
veterans.
2 years ago on Veterans Day, I rattled in the morning. I had a giant 10-point.
well, you damn sure didn't do it this year.
And I said, no, you right about that.
Sick to my stomach.
And but I had 10-point come through, and I almost shot him. And I said, no, something's telling me not to shoot him. And I had these 3 does come in, and I said, no. If I told Jimbo, I said, well, I almost shot that 10. I said, but I don't think he was big enough. I said, so I let him go. And there's a little 6-point came in, and another little deer, and those 3 does come back. And I said, well, Jimbo, if those deer come back, these 3 does come back, I'm shooting one of them, because they had white all the way up there, basically to their chest.
Oh, wow.
And that was just a unique feature on a deer. I said, man, that'd be cool to shoot one of those. So I see them run across the field in the evening, and they come down. I say, here we go. It's just going to pan out just like I thought. Here they come. And these does come down to the blend, and then they do the whole whoosh.
Sound like Ric Flair.
Yeah. And I'm like, what is going on? And I look at these does, and they just won't hit the blend, but I look behind, and I just see this rack just come up out of the
heart
grass.
starts beating.
I go, well, we ain't shooting a doe today. And I sit there, and it's just like Jimbo said, they do stuff, and everything's slow motion.
Yeah.
And I'm like watching them, and I'm like, why do I have to sit in this?
Yeah.
Like this is festering in me. I'm over here like I don't even know how to handle this, And I'm like watching them come through the trees, and I'm just like 3 steps. That's what I need. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I waited 8 minutes for 3 steps, and I'm like, can we just do this, because I don't think I can handle it anymore,
right?
And then I shoot, and I've jinxed myself before where I thought I made a good shot, and it wasn't good.
I think we've all been there.
And so this time, I get buck fever, but I calm it down real quick, because I'm like, man, this getting high and getting low in the same moment is terrible.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, so I get out there, and I was like, smoking. I'm like, hell, I don't know if it's a good hit. It looked kind of back to me, but I looked at the arrow and it looked good, And then my buddy came out, John, and he only ran like 70 yards, Biggest deer, 155 inches.
Nice.
Biggest deer, and I'm like, I don't know what just happened. I couldn't even like I pulled up. Jimbo's out there waiting at the end of the road for me. He's like, "What'd you just do?" I said, "I have no idea."
This is another thing that'll blow your mind too. When we talk about the spectrum of personnel, A to Z. Okay, is that when you do get into the damn latter end of the spectrum? Okay, this is a group of guys that love what we're doing. Okay, we don't have a dog in the hunt when it comes to regulations. No. We have a set of guidelines and regulations that we must follow to be able to hunt an area.
Yeah.
Okay, so we understand that. So we're reading the books. We're reading the rules. We're giving the younger guy good data when he asks for it. Okay? But what I can tell you is what we don't do when they change the rule is whine about it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't whine about it. The love and the passion is there for doing what we do. We're going to make the adjustment.
Yeah.
And not say anything.
Yeah.
And the way I explained this to somebody the other day, I told you, I was like, with a group of guys that I hunt in, if somebody was to make the rule, say starting 20, 26, 27 season archery, your bow must be fluorescent orange.
Right.
Before you can walk into the wood line.
Right.
My phone would go off, and what would be on the phone would be, are you going matte or are you going gloss?
Yeah.
Like, no
Okay,
shit.
let's do it. Paint them up.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Yeah, because that T.
We don't care.
Yeah, the T to Z hunter don't care.
No, we got our parameters. We know what our parameters are. We're going to get it done.
Yeah, you're just gonna make that because at the end, we really appreciate the opportunity to get those hunts, man. We know what that privilege is.
Well, especially being right here in Texas with no other public land, and that's the honey hole.
Yeah,
That's all there is.
Yeah, that's
Right.
tough. I'll be honest. That's why I live here.
Yeah.
The competition, competition is tough, but it does come down to what's your love and what is your passion.
Yeah.
That's
A lot of people ask me all the time, how you keep killing these big deer on hood? I said, well, I'll tell you, it ain't by sitting on the couch.
Yeah, you can't get them from the couch.
No, I'm gonna tell you, there's very few that rival the amount of time I spend in the woods, and Jimbo's for sure one of them. If there's one other, I don't even know. I don't even know if there's another person. But me and Jimbo, out of the people we know, it'd be hard to find somebody that spends more time in the woods.
Hard to pull people out of that AC in July, August.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you, it's hard to pull me out too.
I'm 57.
I don't love the 98 degrees. I'll tell you that. But
I'm 57, man, and the biggest thing that I know is I roll out of bed now. Instead of springing out, I'm rolling out, and it hurts.
Yeah, with a couple moans.
Yep,
yeah,
that hurts.
Jimbo's already written up a contract. When he hits like 65, I got to take him out all the time.
Y'all hunting in the morning?
I won't be.
My
I gotta
bucket,
go
my
to work,
recurve.
but I'll be in the evening.
You hunting in the morning?
No.
No.
I'll be in the evening. I'm pretty. And look, I'm not gonna jinx myself. But I'm gonna
And
tell
my
you guys
flashlight
right
will be
now.
ready.
It'll be ready.
Between Friday, just say this weekend. All right, I'm going to say this weekend. There's going to be an opportunity. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to shoot a big buck, but I'm going to tell you there's going to be an opportunity for me to kill one.
Well, good luck on that.
Yeah, I'm
Good
pretty.
luck
I'm
on
gonna-
that.
I'm going to text y'all tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, let
Bring
us
the
know.
lights.
Yeah,
Yep.
hey,
We
we got
already
the
know.
blood
We
lights.
already know.
We're ready to
Yeah,
go.
we already know the deal.
Do you guys
man.
hunt in the morning?
I'm more of an evening hunter myself. Too. I like hunting the evenings better too. Well, let everybody know where they can find y'all again before we end up signing off. Just
I said you can find it at the J2 Deer and Hog website. Just look us up. J2 Deer and Hog. Just put it in Google, man. The website will pop up. And, of course, you got J2 Deer and Hog Facebook, by all means. But the Facebook, like I said, we do what I can to keep the prices of the product down to a bare minimum. Minimum overhead. We do a Facebook page, and that's it. Customers out there, we don't ever tell the customers, hey, look, I can sit here at this table right now and give you a spill on J2 Berry Blunt, but it's not going to have the same effect as a customer.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to the customer.
Unbiased.
You can get me stuck in so many rabbit holes right here, man. You probably get bored anyway.
well, that's the truth. You're the maker of it, so you're obviously gonna, be very biased about it.
For sure.
And we have used it. And I know, y'all are two peas in a pod right now, so you're going to have very bias to it,
Well,
right?
and I'll tell you right now, I gave it to people in Florida, and they
Well,
loved it. Florida.
We used it. Jimbo had given us some last year before. We used it, and to be honest, I told Ben, I said, man, I don't have a lot of faith in this because a lot of this deer attractant stuff doesn't work. And we put it out, and same thing, sell cameras, and I was like, Ben, did you check the cameras?
I need to up my data plan.
Yeah, we were looking at
Sure
those.
did.
So
Right?
Yeah, a lot of our success was due to using J2, and we put a lot of people onto it because as just you can go to the Facebook page, you can go to anyone's Facebook page, and you see that J2 bag in front of that big buck or that nice mature doe, and it's doing something because the product's speaking for itself all over social media.
We do really appreciate y'all supporting the product as well.
we appreciate your support as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you guys can find me, Downright Deadly. I have a YouTube page. I also have a Facebook page as well. I'm also strong collaboration with One Mission Outdoors with Jesse and them. Been with them the whole time since One Mission's been a thing. So if you want to catch me at the shooting range, you guys got questions about bow builds, saddles, I mean, you name it, I can just build your custom arrows. I can do all that. If you guys need any of that or just want to know how to set up your bow, hit me up. That's my game.
Yeah, if
Archery's
you haven't
my
been out
game.
to the 1MO range and see what they've done from start to finish to where they're at right now,
It's impressive.
Yeah, we got
utterly amazing.
We got the
Impressive.
next,
place to
the
shoot.
next buckle tournament, I think, is on the 23rd.
23rd and then the 30th.
And that's going to be at Blora, the 3D range. I think it's going to be at Blora. So I'll be there shooting. I missed the last one because I was at a deer hunt. But I'm definitely going for the buckle. So I gotta outshoot this guy with a recurve. I don't think it's going to happen. But,
Gonna be fun trying.
I give it a go.
Right?
Give it a shot.
It's always a fun shoot.
Well, it was a fun podcast.
Sure
with you
was.
guys, man.
I appreciate you guys having us. For
Yeah,
sure.
man, it's
Definitely.
been good having you guys here. We hope to have you back again, and we'll be talking more with you guys. But hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Like I said, we're going to drop their links in the description. So if you're looking for their product or you're looking for how to follow Danny on YouTube and his socials, you definitely want to check it out. He's doing some amazing things with his content. So, well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast.
Would you mind if I chirped in and said one more thing just real quick?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Put that camera right on you.
Yeah, and I think this is important, okay? Especially coming from an old-timer side of the house. If you're out there hunting, and no matter what you're hunting with a crossbow, you're out there hunting with a recurve, longbow, compound, gun, shotgun, it does not matter. Understand that what you're doing is very important. Don't let social media steer you on your weapon of choice.
Say it again out loud.
I love it.
Don't let
True.
social media steer you on what you know you can effectively take an animal's life with. Bottom line.
And I wanted to add this. If you could listen to this podcast today, you can see that me, Jimbo, yourself, we all have different ways of doing something.
Yeah.
Don't let somebody dictate and tell you because of the way that you hunt, whether it be your weapon of choice, the method in which you hunt, that it is not going to be effective. Because I know me and Jimbo go back and forth, and we got an older gentleman here and me, the younger generation, and me and him, I'll tell you right now, me and him will argue till we're blue in the face on something.
What works for one doesn't work for all sometimes.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like you said, no matter what our method is, the end state is the same. And as long as you're out there having fun, that's what matters to me.
Hell yeah. That's it right there.
Well,
Conservation and passing it down.
Well, we're going to sign out, guys, but I'll top it off with this. If you're not getting out there, you're not getting out there in the woods, you're not getting out there on the water, I don't know what you're doing, because that's what this podcast is about. It's a fishing and hunting podcast. This was another good episode. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you on the next one.